Oh, there we go. That's my cue. Okay, it's 6:30. We will get started. This is the city council meeting for the city of Fairway, Kansas. It is Monday, August 11th, 2025 at 6:30 PM. I'd like to call this meeting to order. Hi, Dan. Announcement, Nathan, you didn't think of what you had? Okay. Chief, do we have a guest that you'd like to introduce?
We're going?
Yeah, you're live.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we're here. Go.
Did we do the Pledge of
Not the
Allegiance?
report, huh?
Did we do the Pledge of Allegiance?
No,
You want
I
to?
called the meeting to order and we're doing this under
Okay.
announcements.
Perfect.
Okay.
Okay. I thought I missed
I'm
it.
changing things up
Thought
for
I
you,
missed
chief.
it. Thank you,
I
man.
want to
I
see if you're
apologize.
allowed over there.
It's okay. Well, I'd like the council to be introduced to our new community service officer, Elena Ashcraft.
Hi.
She comes to us from the city of Olathe. She served 10 years there. Some of the things that she did will sound familiar, but on an individual basis, she served as a community service officer there, a codes enforcement officer there, a property officer there, and then she also served a stint in patrol as well. Prior to that, she was with Overland Park and did codes enforcement there for a brief time. All of those things we rolled into one and she fit perfectly. She's pursuing a degree in forensic psychology.
Ah.
So she's super smart. I told her not to analyze me. She said, stay the way you are. So for now, I'm sure. But if you guys would just, when you see her, please introduce yourselves when you have time. She's already been out to a ward meeting and has done a great job already with efficiency and helping our department kind of revamp some things that she's seen based on her training and experience. So an amazing asset. We're very lucky to have her. And again, another addition to an all-star team, and the city should be proud to have her here.
We are. Elena, welcome. We're glad you're here. And just the conversations that we've had this is Monday, isn't it? Last week over in the police station, you'll fit in just fine. We know you will. Okay, now Chief, Pledge of Allegiance. Please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, first is the monthly reports of the standing committees. Consolidated Fire District number 2, Chief Chick is here quarterly. He was here last month. So there will be no report this evening concerning Fire District number 2. Administration and Finance, Nathan?
Thank you, Mayor. The Administration and Finance Committee did not meet in July, so I will let the report for the administration side stand. I haven't answered any questions.
Any questions for Nathan? Lee?
So I know I mentioned this last time, but the tunnel looks even better than it did last week at our last meeting. Are we finished?
No.
No? So
No.
it just keeps getting better.
There's going to be a punch list that we're going to go over with the contractor tomorrow.
Fantastic. Well, it's looking great. I've gotten all kinds of positive feedback from residents. So they're doing a good job.
Good. And just so you know, any work now that occurs will have to happen either outside of school hours or sort of in the window so that we don't have any kids walking to or from school. But the tunnel should remain open through the punch list.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Every morning when I walk past there, I lean over the railings and check. But the railings really look, yeah, they look good. And I thank Abby for, Nathan, for
Yes.
having the idea that we go back to what the original railings look like.
Yep.
That was a great idea.
Yep.
Okay, finance?
I'll also let the finance committee report stand. Just will mention that next month for the September city council meeting, we will have our budget, 2026 budget public hearing, as well as the public hearing to exceed the revenue neutral rate. So um, uh, we will have a brief PowerPoint if there's anybody in the audience, but otherwise the council will have to approve the 2026 budget.
Okay, any questions in the finance category for Nathan? Okay, police, chief?
Thank you, Mayor. More of the same. We have many individuals that do not stop for us and flee. However, we are remaining vigilant, locating a lot of those people that run and pursuing charges on them. We did have something to note in reference to a bicycle versus car accident. A bicycle, in fact, hit a parked car, and it was not an e-bike. It was a special needs individual that ran into a parked car. That's notated in the report. If there are any questions about that, that is basically what occurred. We have had numerous complaints about e-bikes. So I want to mention to the council that within the next month, we'll be rolling out some proposed ordinances for those for you to review. So those are in the works and they're coming very quickly. Other cities have adopted ordinances already. And then we will be pursuing those as well. Other things to note is the Johnson County Fair occurred last month and we put a car in a parade out there. Officer Rubio drove that car for us and represented Fairway in the Johnson County Fair. The other thing I want to mention is the department's appreciation to the city for the Light Fairway Blue campaign. We are very appreciative. It pulls at our heartstrings at night when we see those lights. We know that you guys are out there supporting us. So we're very appreciative. Thank you. Last week was a tough week for us. It's a 2-year anniversary of losing Jonah. And again, lots and lots of very respectful people in the community and from, well, I'll say across the country, from people that I know that have reached out to me, my friends, friends of the department, friends of the officers, again, not forgetting, sending their condolences and checking on us. So that makes us feel real good. On another sad note, I feel like I've got a bunch of sad notes in a row. Members of the department represented Fairway at Deputy Ming's funeral today. It was very sad. And it's just horrific to continue to see the violence towards law enforcement and just the public. I wish it would change. With that, I'm happy to answer any questions.
Questions for the chief? Thank you, chief. Nathan, can you scroll up a little bit? Okay, next is Public Works. Bill?
Thank you, Mayor. I also will let my report stand as submitted. One thing I would like to elaborate on is we did get our final report back from KDHE. They requested one additional document that they forgot to take with them when they left from the audit and pass that on to them. And we are fully complete with the audit and we passed with, I don't want to say flying colors, but we passed. Be happy to answer any questions.
Bill, that's great. Congratulations.
No one likes to be audited.
I know that probably better than anyone else at this, on this, meeting.
I knew you would.
Yes, well, that's great news and thank you to you and your staff.
Rick did a lot of the heavy lifting on that. A lot of it was sediment and erosion control. They spent quite a bit of time at the Fieldston. Um, kudos to the Crossland for having all their ducks in a row as well. That really tremendously helped us.
Great. I have a question for you, Bill.
Absolutely.
In your report, you say that the watershed #1 had an August 5th meeting. Did that take
Yes, ma'am.
place?
It did take place. I unfortunately had about an hour and a half warning and I could not make that meeting. I had to go to an emergency dentist appointment. I had a loose tooth, so I know what took place during the meeting, but did you have any specific questions?
No, my question was going to be what took place at the meeting?
Um, just overview. They wanted a low-level overview of what we've done to date on the state park PPS. This was just more of a quarterly check-in.
Okay. Well, you know that stormwater is near and dear to my heart and something.
Yes,
that
ma'am. And we
always
are
remember.
targeting, we got confirmation from Don Baker. We are going to have a presentation for the State Park PPS at the October, is it 29th, Nathan? Finance Committee meeting.
Yes.
Oh, great. Okay. Oh, good. Okay. Any other questions for Bill? Kellyanne?
Kelly Busick, Ward 1. Bill, could you give us some information about the Water One project on Chadwick Road that's going to happen shortly?
Yeah, they're just gonna replace the water main. It's all gonna be in the grassy surface, so it'll be a minimal disruption. They're gonna horizontally bore the whole thing and just have to do a few tie-ins here and there. The street won't be disturbed.
Is it going to be on the west side or the east side of the street? Do you know?
I do not have the plans in front of me. I'm not sure, but I believe it's the west side.
Okay, thank you so much.
Is that the full length of Chadwick? Is
Yes.
it
Yep.
North of the Parkway too?
Yes. Eventually, they're starting at State Park to give time for the Cars project to wrap up in that area.
Okay.
Which, by the way, if anyone has been by the area, 53rd Street is now open there at Mission Road and the island is in place. They still have to do the stamped concrete center, but you will see that island, I think, will definitely work for traffic calming on Chadwick.
Will you keep me informed as to what it does to Canterbury?
Yes. Yep.
Okay. I am going to be curious. Okay. Any other questions for Bill? Yeah, Dan.
I'm relatively confident I'm now asking in the wrong section. So this might be the chief, might be our new employee, Nathan. With the amount of rain we've had this summer, there's quite a bit of overgrown vegetation on sidewalks, specifically Row and Shawnee Mission Parkway. So could somebody grab that and look at that? And I don't know if it's a homeowner's responsibility or the city's if it's overgrowing a sidewalk.
Are you talking about like trees and things?
It mainly just large overgrown bushes that, and there's some
Oh,
spots
okay.
now where you have to get out on the road. You can't even use the sidewalk.
We can definitely look at it, Dan, and one of us will make a note.
Thank you.
It is the homeowner's responsibility, so this would fall under code enforcement.
You know, on that point, I did notice driving down Mission Road towards Joe's house that city staff was trimming the bushes along that sidewalk a few weeks ago. And they got a big tree branch on the Mission Road Bridge on the west side that looked like it could chop someone's head off if they were going by too quick. So thank you for that, Bill.
Yeah, that
Yep,
was,
David, that's an extenuating circumstance. The property owners for that area are actually up on Cherokee Circle. And if we did not do that, it would not get done.
Well, I know it's their property. That's why I was thanking you for doing it, because I know they don't think it's their property, even though it is.
anyone else? Yeah, Lee?
Hey, Bill, number one, thank you for helping the resident on our street with his cable issue. I really appreciate that, you and Rick. Following up on what Kellyanne was talking about, I'm assuming that this Water One project is a continuation of the project that they have been doing for some time. Correct me if I'm wrong. And so should we anticipate that that's going to roll through the entire ward at some point, in our case, Ward One? And is there a master schedule that they've provided you with, or do you find out essentially when we find out that they're going to be starting on our street tomorrow, which is essentially the letter that we got?
Yeah, I find out just a little bit before you guys do. So there is not a master schedule. They try to follow our mill and overlay patterns, and they do for the most part, except for areas like this where they do not have to get into the street.
Okay, so they just determine where they want to go, and then they tell you where they're going. And
There's a formula that they have that has to do with historical, the age of the line, downtime, breaks and things like that. I do not have that information, and they don't provide us with a master plan. I think it's funding and availability more so than anything.
okay, thanks. Another topic. I noticed you alluded to the down limbs in your report. Can you just, for my benefit, tell me what the policy is relative to when the city will pick up limbs and what triggers a citywide pickup versus an individual situation? We get a lot of questions on that, and Kellyanne and I end up confusing
Yep.
each other. So
Yep, we've run several articles in the Focus on Fairway on that, and public works staff, after any storm that seems like there may be down limbs, will drive the streets. And if the damage seems to be more than what normal homeowners could do in the daily works of their home ownership, we will activate the citywide brush collection. But as it sets, any limb lost off of a right-of-way tree 5 inches in diameter or greater, city staff will pick up.
great. And when there's a citywide event, does that go out on an email?
Yep, constant contact, and we keep them up to date where we are, what wards we have been through, and when we start our final collection. And once we're completely done, we send out a final one saying anything left, the homeowner's responsible to dispose of.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Lee, I might just add to that generally, excuse me, when staff is out looking following a storm, they're looking at the extent of damage to right-of-way trees. So if we see, obviously there's times where it's difficult to discern whether or not it's a right-of-way tree or a private property tree, but the decision is largely based on, has there been significant damage to right-of-way trees that would require the city to go through and schedule a cleanup of our own right-of-way trees. And then that's when we would extend it then to the broader community. So there's always going to be a one-off in a storm. There's always going to be somebody who has way more damage than their neighbor. But unless it's widespread damage, we will not activate the city collection.
Thank you, guys.
Dan, go ahead.
Real quick, going back to your comment on the Water One work, Bill, correct me if I'm wrong when I'm saying any of this, but there's been multiple streets in Ward One that, the same sort of work has already taken place on. I can't remember the last time Water One, came in with a project that we weren't going to mill and overlay that road unless it was an emergency repair, correct?
No, they've done it from time to time. They did it they did it this year on Canterbury south of Shawnee Mission Parkway. And they've done it on Granada a couple years ago. There's been a handful of streets that they've done that with.
Anything else for Bill? Okay, Parks and Rec, Bryce?
Thanks, Mayor. I'll let my report stand as submitted. Just noting that the pool's school schedule is out now, so we're closed Monday through Thursday because all of our staff is back at school. But we'll be open Friday afternoons 4 to 7:30, and then Saturdays and Sundays from 11:30 to 7:30, as noted. I'll point out there, our dive-in movie in July was one of our best we've ever had. We had so many people there, and we actually had the cast of Jason Sudeikis is new, or the coach. What's that? Yeah, Ted Lasso. Geez, sorry. So the cast and Ted Lasso was there and the summer staff had a great time with that. So if you're following any of them on any social media, I'm sure they posted it. And then our master plan, I just want to thank the community for being such a big participant in the master plan. We've heard from Landworks that who's taking care of our master plan that they don't usually have this type of participation in the master plan process. And so that's a really big kudos to the residents of Fairway and participants in our pool memberships and our rentals and our just going to the park. So really like to extend a thank you to all those that have participated. It really helps us point our direction for the department going forward. So
Great. Congratulations on the program activities with the pool and the revenues. It was a great summer. Started off a little shaky,
yeah,
but it was a great summer.
Yep.
And we look forward to your full report.
sounds good.
Any questions for Bryce? Nope. Okay. Moving on to monthly reports of special committees, tree board, Bill.
No report.
Next on the agenda is the public comment for consent agenda items only. I will read those for the record and then ask for any public comment. Item A is approved minutes of the previous regular city council meeting. Item B is approved claims and appropriations. Ordinance number 1831 for July 2025. Any public comment on either of those items? Don't see any in the audience. Anybody online? Nope. Okay. These items are determined to be routine enough to be acted on in a single motion. However, this does not preclude discussion. If a council member requests, an item may be removed from the consent agenda for further consideration and a separate motion. Council, any discussion on consent agenda? Okay, is there a motion? David?
Mayor, I move that we approve items A and B on the consent agenda.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve consent agenda items A and B. All those in favor, aye. Opposed, no. Passes unanimously. Next on the agenda is new business. Item A, consider planning commission recommendation for a sign replacement in Reinhardt Estates. Nathan, are you taking that?
I will, yes, Mayor, and this is what was going to be my announcement. It's not a sign replacement. It is for an additional sign.
Gotcha.
So
That sounds better.
that's what I was locked away and couldn't come out.
Okay.
Okay, so yeah, this has been through planning commission and it is coming through with planning commission's recommendation for the council to approve. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for Nathan? It's pretty self-explanatory. Okay, I will open that for public comment concerning the additional sign in Reinhardt Estates. Anyone in the audience wish to speak? No? Okay. Nathan, anyone online? Nope. Okay, any discussion on the part of the council? Okay, is there a motion?
Mayor, since I'm a proud resident of the Reinhardt Estates Homes Association, I move that we approve item A, the planning commission's recommendation to add a second Reinhardt Estates sign on the 63rd Street Island.
Okay, is there a second? Been moved and seconded that we approve the planning commission's recommendation for the additional sign in Reinhardt Estates. All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
No? Passes unanimously. Okay, item B, consider block party application for Reinhardt Homes Association. Nathan, is that you again?
Yes, I will take these next couple items. So we have a bit of a new process here that was identified through staff has put this together since this event occurred last year. And so as you recall, last year, there were some concerns about the location of the Reinhardt Estates Fall Festival. As a result of that, and also due to the potential introduction of the sale of alcohol at the event, staff has formally created a process now to approve block parties throughout the city. Specifically, those involving alcohol or adjacent to parks do require council approval. So with that, we have the Reinhardt Estates Homes Association Block Party application. This is for their annual fall festival adjacent to Kathy's Park. There is not any intent for them to supply or sell alcohol, but because residents may bring their own, we did ask that they include that as a part of their application. So with that, you have the application for the Reinhardt Homes Association event on October 5th, 2025.
Okay. Is there anyone in the audience would like to speak for public comment on this item? No? Okay, online? All right, council, discussion on this item? Dan?
Since this is new, I mean, this is the first time I remember seeing one of these. I just like to ask, I'd say, some broader questions. Specifically, the second one we're seeing tonight from Angie Gibson, is that for a HOA as well?
It's just a neighborhood party,
Just a block?
just a block party.
So essentially, I mean, anyone could come to us asking for this at any point, and specifically the consumption of alcohol. I mean, you can't sell it, correct? I mean, there's a rule, you can't sell it, or you can, we would just have to approve it.
So yes, if there were to be no alcohol requested or present, then staff, the chief could approve a block party. However, because there is the possibility of the presence of alcohol on a public street or a public facility, the ordinances do require, with the exception of what is already sort of blanketly approved, whether it's at the shelter or in the pool house or here at City Hall, those individual requests have to come before council.
But specifically, could a resident come request a block party and sell alcohol?
I would have to go back and review the code. We would require the sale of alcohol would have to be approved by the Alcohol Beverage Control Commission from Topeka for the state. They would have to have the applicable permits in order to do that from them.
Okay, really don't have any objection to these. I'm just trying to think around it.
Yeah,
before we.
so for example, when there was the possibility of there being essentially a mobile bar that was going to come to an event last year, they have to be licensed in order to do that. And so while we do have a city license that they would have to have as well, really, when it comes to alcohol, that's the state that controls that. So the permit would have to come from them as well.
So they would require permits from both the state and the city if they're.
Correct. Yeah, we wouldn't just allow, I don't see a situation where we would allow a resident to go stock up at a liquor store and come back to the block and sell on their own.
Yes.
There would have to be a process where they've acquired approval from the state in order to do that.
That makes sense. Anyone else? Yeah, Lee?
So following up on Dan's question, is the application, the example we're looking at, the Reinhardt one for, use that, is the fact that they filled out the application sufficient to request this alcohol presence? Or I didn't see a specific line item on the form or anything, so
So
is it there?
yeah, it should be there. And really, they worked with Abby because, thinking, that they're not supplying
Oh, there it
or
is.
engaging in the alcohol or providing it. Applicants are going to think, well, we don't need to worry about that because we're not providing alcohol. But the reality is, the way the code is written, the mere presence of alcohol on a public facility such as a street or park, but for your authorization here, is illegal. So we're basically sort of preempting any awkward situations that may come up if the police are called there for any reason and they see alcohol present without this approval, they have to start issuing citations. So, and as the chief has said before, we allow for a block party, we are essentially closing that public facility, meaning the street. And so it really does become a quasi-private space. So this way, we're just covering all of our bases here by saying, hey, we know they're not supplying it, but if a resident walks out and has alcohol and law enforcement happens to be there, they have to act. So this is just providing for that, so long as they're not out of control, then the PD does not have to write a citation.
Right. Okay, makes sense. And Dan showed me there is a yes, no
Yeah.
on here. So, okay, that's great. Thanks.
And for clarification, what's the state statute or the city ordinance for Peterson Park?
So Peterson Park, alcohol is permitted within the large shelter if you have the permit
Permit.
for it.
Okay,
You cannot have alcohol anywhere without a proper permit on public property.
okay.
So, and even at Peterson Park, there's very strict guidelines as far as when you're transferring it from your car to the shelter, it has to be undercover. So you just can't be carrying 12 packs under your arms. They've got to be concealed. And then they have to remain within the structure of the shelter. You can't be out walking around the playground equipment with the beverage. It has to stay within the shelter. What you are approving here would be for there to be the presence of alcohol within Kathy's Park, any part of it.
That was going to be my next question. Even though the event is not at Kathy's Park, it's in the street right next
I
to it.
mean, staff takes the position that the event is held in the street and at the park.
Eh,
And at the park.
And at the park, okay? Okay. So this application takes care of,
This application that you would be considering tonight would authorize the consumption of alcohol within the confines of their block party on the street, as well as within the entirety of Kathy's Park.
I know there was a lot of confusion with
Yes.
that. Okay. So staff feels that this has been clarified with this, not this specific application, but with any application because of this.
This clarifies the process, and because
Okay.
of staff's concerns about the presence of alcohol and the event taking place adjacent to a park, we punt on this one to the council.
Okay. Now, what if there's no park around, just a street? You still have to do the same thing.
Correct.
Okay. David, did you have a comment?
I just wanted to thank staff for working with Reinhardt. And I saw obviously there's another application right after this for a similar thing. So I appreciate getting this done in a way that will allow Reinhardt and any other homes association or any other neighbor to have an event in the street properly blocked off and going through the proper process, because we like our annual fall festival and we're glad to be able to continue to do it. So thank you very
Right.
much.
Whitney?
I have two questions for you. Since this is a new process, thinking in the past, I'm curious as to approximately how many of these types of applications do you envision heading our way a year? Is it just a handful?
handful.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then I preface this with by saying that I don't think the Reinhardt HOA or the Gibson's parties are going to get crazy out of hand, but I am curious what police presence, how does that change or impact? Do you all stop by those parties or swing past if you know that there's going to be alcohol there?
Well, we monitor all those events.
Okay.
We're notified of them in advance because of the
Yeah.
approval for the road closure anyway. Just like any event in Fairway typically. There's been more of a presence, I think, with alcohol as of late, more of a just out in the open presence. And it's causing us to take some sort of action in reference to that, whether it be a mobile bar pulling up and selling alcohol that we're not familiar with, to who knows who, and are they selling non-alcoholic drinks and alcoholic drinks to the public? We don't, and if it's not appropriately licensed through the city, we don't know what's occurring in reference to that. So that kind of forces our hand to verify that they have the appropriate documentation to be serving alcohol. Some of that has happened. And in the past, we have just basically somewhat warned residents, but it's just become more of a, I'd say, norm during a block party to have alcohol in the street. And that contradicts city code.
Yeah, thanks, Chief.
Jerry?
Jerry Williams, Ward Two. Again, on the alcohol question, what happens when someone has been overserved or someone's has had too much? The proper laws still apply for drunkenness in the streets?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else? Okay. We've had public comment and discussion by the council. I'll entertain a motion.
Mayor, I'll go for the other Reinhardt Association matter here. I move that we approve item B on new business, the block party application for the Reinhardt Estates Homeowners Association.
Is there a second? It's been moved and seconded that we approve the application for the block party for Reinhardt's HOA. All those in favor, aye. Opposed, no. Passes unanimously. Okay, item C, consider block party application for Angie Gibson.
Mayor, this is the same song, just a different street.
What's the street?
Same song, just a different
Yeah.
street. Yeah,
Alhambra,
this is Alhambra. Yeah.
okay. Is there anyone in the audience who wishes to comment on this item? Please come to the podium. And oh, hey, you look fine. Yeah,
Is this good?
yeah.
Yep.
Identify yourself, name
I'm
and
Edward
address.
Gibson, 5816 Alhambra.
Okay,
And Angie and I host a block party every year. This will be our 7th, I think. And it never really gets crazy. We have lots of kids. Fire department usually comes. There are some neighbors that bring drinks. Usually it's in our front yard, in the neighbor's front yard, but sometimes they are in the street. So yeah, we just want to get approval that we're good to still go ahead and do it.
okay, thank you. Discussion by the council?
I appreciate you all having the block party approval process here, because I do think it illustrates the rules, at least for me, very clearly, how they apply in different situations. You don't have a park next to your event, but some of the adults might bring alcohol, so you have to ask for permission. We happen to have both a street and a park next to our event, so we have to ask for the same permission. So I think it is clear in my mind that, and it's not either group sponsoring or providing the alcohol, it's just the neighbors happen to bring a can of, oh, is that up? A can or a koozie or something like that to the event. So I think it's very good education for us on the council tonight.
Yeah, because in my long tenure on the council, we've not had an education like this. So thank you to staff. I think it helps the police department also in knowing what your process is, right?
It does.
Okay.
Otherwise,
Great.
we would obviously have to take enforcement action
Yeah.
on something
Yeah.
that the council would
Yeah.
approve. Thanks to this process, we don't have to do that.
Yeah.
And it keeps us out of the middle
Yeah.
of the situation with our residents.
Which is the way it should be. Okay, any other comments? Discussion? Okay, I'll entertain a motion.
Mayor, I move that we approve the block party application for Angie Gibson.
Been moved and seconded that we approve the block party application. All those in favor, aye. Opposed, no. Passes unanimously. All right, item D on new business. Consider authorizing the mayor to sign agreements for the Fairway Pool Pavilion project. That's Bryce.
Yep. Thank you, Mayor. And I did note that I put in front of you an updated last sheet to that memo. The pricing went up a bit for the tongue and groove underneath the shelter. If it would have been just compressed wood underneath there, would not look very tidy at all. So the tongue and groove is now included, and I've crossed out the former price that I originally put in my memo and updated the price there for you to reflect that change. Again, as you all know, this project was born out of trying to have more kids be able to attend camp during the summers. The pool house restricts us in terms of the space allotted for the kids to be there. The berm area north of the zero depth area is the most underutilized portion of the space that we have. This was an opportunity to add at least 150 kids to camps over the summer, which we added more this summer, and we had a record number come. We still have waiting lists that are in the 20s. So this will allow us to add more as we continue to grow in popularity for parents to send their kids to our camps. Not only that, this will help with rentals in the evenings after camp as another another option besides a pool house, and on weekends when the pool's open. So we went through this process. We went out to bid. We had one bid come back, and it was gigantic. So as we do here, it seems lately, we went to work and figured out a way to get the same things we wanted in but a much better price. And luckily with some local partnerships, we've been able to do that with this project I presented tonight in the memo. It is kind of, has changed a bit since it was at the beginning. I showed you the design of the original design, and then now to the design that's in front of us today. So I'm happy to answer any questions you might have regarding the project.
Bryce, why don't you explain for those that haven't heard what the original design was?
Sure.
And then what you've done to change it in order to affect the pricing, the budgeting, so that
Sure.
this project could happen?
Sure. On the original design, on the west of, Alhambra, on the end of Alhambra and west, towards the pool parking lot, we were going to add a rain garden, and then a lot of landscaping there as well, and kind of rechange the sidewalk, update the sidewalk to a new route a bit there. And with that, as you can see, Nathan's shown on the screen now, we would have taken part of Alhambra, the very tip of Alhambra. We would have dug up and made that into an entrance to the sidewalk there. Now with the changes, we have taken away the west side basically of the project. We've utilized the existing sidewalk, and we've kept Alhambra as it was before. Everything else pretty much stays the same. We will be adding 33 junipers, some on the north, some on the east side. We'll be renewing the landscaping inside by the zero depth, by the wall, to mirror what's out at the park now with the new landscaping. There will be a turf area as well for kids to play at, and for the kid camp to have lawn games and everything out there that they currently don't have now. They have to go out to the park to do that. So those are the biggest changes so far. We'll utilize the same fence, so we'll only be adding the portions of new fence that we can't use from the existing fence. And yeah, that's really all the changes from the original one.
I would like to thank you and staff for sharpening your pencils and working with this to get closer to within the budget. I know you did that for the restroom at Peterson Park. Thank you, because that is important. You guys are good. I don't know what else to say. And it's important that we stay within our budget, but still accomplish what we need to. And in this case, we're going to be able to serve more children at kids camp during the summer. And because what'd you tell me? You had enough for two additional camps this year that were on the waiting list? Is that right? Or
Do what now, sir?
how many kids did you have on the waiting list this year?
Oh, usually 20 per camp usually.
Yeah.
And there's 10 camps. So there's about 200 kids on the waiting list, give or take,
Yeah.
a few there.
So we'll be able to serve more children and do it within our budget. So I know that took a lot of time, but thank you.
Yeah, and I know it's not the most important thing as well, but that it is a revenue generating facility that we will, use to bring in money to offset the
Very
cost.
true. Yeah, on an ongoing basis. And it's a better use of the park on that side than what we were currently doing with it.
For sure. Yep.
Okay, questions from council? Yeah, Dan?
I apologize. I wasn't able to make the committee meeting the other night. I've got, I'd say, a series of questions that kind of lead into one another. Our landscape architect, is that the right word?
Mhm.
What was their response in terms of why they just widely miss this budget here?
They thought that maybe the city was being taken advantage of, that there wasn't going to be a lot of bids because it is a smaller project compared to larger projects in the area, that there might be, I don't want to say price gouging, but there was definitely some, they were charging a lot more than, we're asking for a lot more money than we knew was right, for sure. I mean, we can see that reflected in the tree removals. So I know the person that gave them the number for the tree removal then let us know how much they actually charge, and it was about a quarter of what was on the pricing. So it indicated to me that it was clearly they're taking kind of taking advantage of the situation.
Because they were the only bid.
They were the only bid. Yeah.
They were the only bid, but so is their scope of work, the landscape architect, done? Or do they continue to have more scope as we progress through this?
Yeah, they'll continue to do that. They'll develop the new plans, the new stamped plans that we'll get with the updated structure and the updated design and everything. And then they'll help with us to make sure that everything is installed correctly the way it was supposed to per the design.
Because I mean, I will say it out loud. I look at this as a giant failure on their part.
And we did too.
The
Dan.
fact that we only
Yeah.
got one bid, they were that far off, then that is what we're paying them to do. I mean, it's, you do not have the background to be able to put that bid together and do it correctly there, but they didn't get a correct, budget in there either. So again, a series of questions.
But Dan, to Bryce's credit, he recognized that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
not upset with Bryce whatsoever, but the bid was, the estimate was $300,000. We're getting less scope here and paying 25% more
Yeah, I
than
understand.
the estimate.
Yeah.
So with that being said, I've kind of looked at these individual line items. Have we looked at the concrete cost specifically of having a third party do the concrete as opposed to Smith Brothers? That concrete looks about twice as high as it should be.
So they're also pouring for the structure itself. So yes, we can definitely look into that if you'd like. The concrete compared to what the original bid was is less than what the original bid was because the concrete in the original shelter was separated out. So the concrete cost right now, I believe, is a little bit lower than what it would have been if we would have went with the original bid before.
I just encourage you to really look at that number. And if you want my opinion and can give me a little bit more background, I think I could help. I think my last question, the pavilion number, it looks like there's a roof included on there at 19,000,
Mhm.
but you mentioned we were going to have it shingled like the other structures. Are we double paying there?
So we addressed that. They did give us a bit of a discount on the new bid, the updated bid that we got. There won't be putting the the metal on, obviously, but it was a minimal discount for that. But the tongue and groove addition is basically on the underside on the ceiling is going to be substantial, but I think it's warranted. We don't want to look at plywood or, compressed materials just to, for the rest of that time. So they have given us the pricing for the new structure for the 24 by 44 updated pricing. So that's what's reflected here. But yes, they still have to build the roof what goes on the roof, but they have to build the structure for the roof and put all the tongue and groove, the wood, everything up there for that. And then we would take over with our contractor who we get a better pricing than what they offered. Well,
They gave you some sort of discount for the metal.
minimal. Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
Kelly.
Bryce, could you talk about the golf simulator and what kind of market research you did to know how much money you're going to recoup from rentals? And or is it individually based? Is it party based? And just want to know more about it, please. Thank you.
I don't believe this is not part of this discussion. Is it?
Yeah.
Doesn't this have to do with, the golf simulator has to do with the master plan?
Yeah, the golf simulator is not involved in this whatsoever.
Sorry
Did
about
did
that.
I-
It's right
did-
here. It's written right there. That's why I asked the question.
Written right where?
Third paragraph.
That doesn't say golf simulator on mine. Right here.
And that's the golf simulator.
No,
What is that?
that's the contract for the shelter.
So Crouch Recreation is not, this isn't the golf simulator.
No.
That's the shelter, Crouch
that's the
Recreation.
shelter.
I'm sorry about that.
That's
Thank you.
okay. No problem. Anything else? David?
Just a couple of quick points. It looked like from your timetable that barring the worst winter in history, we'll be able to easily get this done before the camp season next spring. Is that correct?
Before the end of the year this year, yeah.
Yeah.
The shelter takes a 10 to 12 week lead time, so that puts us in November. But well within reasonable, it might be that the fencing isn't put up until the shelter's put in and things like that, but I've been assured that this could get done easily before mid-November.
And my wife is the art teacher. I'm not so great on aesthetics, but I appreciate the attempt to match the roofs. But my question is, but it costs a little more. But the long-term duration of the roof, which would have been the longer lasting roof, the original one or this new one?
The metal definitely would have been longer lasting potentially until there was hail. And I don't think our neighbors would have enjoyed listening to rain and all that hit the metal roof right next to them. So we considered the Alhambra as well, that making sure that we're not, that we are in line with the other shelters as well, especially with the noise of rain or anything hitting the roof.
I would just add that the stock roofing material is corrugated tin, which is a prohibited roofing material in the city of Fairway.
Oh, the original metal roof was?
Yes,
that?
it is prohibited in Fairway. So while we could do it, because we don't have to follow our own rules, I'm not quite so sure that it's a good look for us to install a roof as a primary material when it's not a permitted, even as an accessory material in our code.
Is
I
that
would-
what the picture is? Corrugated tin?
Yep.
Oh,
I would agree, Nathan.
looked
Yeah.
pretty nice to me.
It doesn't look bad necessarily. You can go for a variety of colors, but in rain and hail, it is super loud.
Loud.
And down at Black Bob, there's no houses within, 200 yards of that structure too. So that's where that's taken at.
Thank you.
Yep.
Anyone else? Okay, I'll open the floor for public comment on the Fairway Pool Pavilion project. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to speak? online, Nathan? All right, I'll entertain a motion from council.
Mayor, I move that we consider authorizing you, the mayor, to sign the agreements for the Fairway Pool Pavilion project.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that the council authorizes the mayor to sign agreements for the Fairway Pool Pavilion project as presented this evening. All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Passes unanimously. Okay, next on the agenda is the governing body comment. During this time, members of the governing body will be given the opportunity to speak about matters related to the city. No formal action will be taken during this time. Does anyone have anything? Dan?
I feel like Jenna is going to be proud that I brought this up, but it's already back to school time. Today was first day of school, and we were at a school kickoff meeting last week and talking to the art teacher at Westwood View, and she was asking about the tunnel. And I suggested she contact you, but it really did get me thinking. I mean, we only have, I think, 2 elementary schools within the city of Fairway that our children go to. If maybe they were both interested in one side of the tunnel, she and I think Westwood View clearly are. So just wanting to put that out there.
Anyone else? All right, we'll close the governing body comment section of the agenda and move on to public comment for items not listed on the agenda. Anyone wish to speak this evening? Please come forward. State your name and address for the record, please.
Hi, Nancy Henry, 62nd and Mission Road. And I have good comments in the park because I walk through there 3 times a day with the dogs. The kids did a great job with the pool, very impressed. They were very polite, charming kids. So good job hiring. Not so pleasant. The landscaping on 62nd. The hydrangeas are great. The ground cover, and I know you've replaced it once or twice. Is there a solution that you're planning?
Well, we, like you said, we are on the second iteration of this. And so we will look at something else that we can put in there that maybe has a little bit better survival rate than what the current one is, which is basically you plant it and it starts dying. So yes, there are different options we're going to look at with our landscaping contractor.
Previous landscapers or whatever people put it, will they be doing it, or can we get some money back, or how much more is it going to cost us?
I'll look into that and have an answer for you.
Well, there should be a guarantee. There should be a guarantee with them.
There's already been a warranty period with those. And so they replaced them during that warranty period. Now it's clear that right now that they're struggling for sure, the ground cover.
Well,
Non-existent.
okay, I'm a gardener and I've struggled with, I re-landscape my backyard. And this summer was not a gardener summer. And the winter killed a lot. So I would pursue that even a 3rd time replacement is under warranty. I
Yeah.
don't care about the time.
Yeah. And our landscaping company is based out of Fairway as well. And again, they're extremely easy to work with and they understand the situation. So I have no doubts that they would figure out a way to get something in there that we know is going to be a little bit more, well, we'll stay alive, period.
That ground cover grows slowly.
Yeah.
But the hydrangeas are great.
Oh, I know.
So, and we're giving them kudos for that.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for coming. Anyone else? Okay, we'll close. Oh, anybody online, Nathan? We'll close public comment. Next on the agenda, we are going to have an executive session, attorney-client privilege communications. Please know that no action will be taken during or after the executive session. So when we finish the executive session, we will come back to the council chambers and immediately adjourn. So you won't be missing anything. And I need a motion, Dan?
I move that the city council recess into executive session to obtain legal advice related to the terms and conditions of potential development agreement for the project located at 2820 West 53rd Street in Fairway, Kansas, pursuant to the attorney-client consultation exception, KSA 75-4319 B2. The executive session will include the city attorney, Jim Mosselman, and city administrator, Nathan Nogelmeyer. The open meeting will resume in city council chamber at 8:15 PM.
Been moved and seconded. All those in favor, aye. Opposed, no. Passes unanimously. Thank you all for coming this evening. It's nice to have an audience.